This is Gene Stuller. For most of his life, he had every reason to believe he'd gotten away with it. No arrest, no knock at the door. Just 34 years of quiet, ordinary living, AA meetings, a maintenance job, a wife he took care of. But somewhere in an evidence locker in Osceola County, a pair of shorts had been waiting. On September 23, 1991, motorists passing a field in St. Cloud, Florida, flagged down a police officer after noticing a body on the side of the road. She had been there for over 24 hours. Her name was Julia Sue Wilbanks. She was 27 years old, and she had been stabbed 17 times. Investigators collected what evidence they could, but no suspect emerged, and the case went cold. It stayed cold for over 30 years. The file was reopened in 2012, but it wasn't until 2025 that advanced genealogical DNA testing on Julia's clothing finally produced a name: Gene Stuller. Investigators placed him under surveillance, recovered a straw he'd discarded, and ran it against the DNA on those shorts. It was a match. The police then brought him down in the station for questioning.
So you're single that whole time? Any girlfriends?
None to speak of, no.
Okay. Did
Dates
you ever get
here and
in
there.
any trouble with law enforcement at all here in Florida when you moved here?
Maybe traffic tickets.
Some traffic tickets, no arrests or anything like that? No. Okay. And you lived in Kissimmee. Do you remember the address you lived in Kissimmee?
I don't remember the address, but it was Fountainhead Apartments.
Fountainhead Apartments? Okay. Can you remember if in 1991 that you lived in Kissimmee?
God, I don't know when I moved to Orlando.
Yeah. You said you moved to Orlando and came back a couple of times. So you're familiar with the area. Did you live in St. Cloud at all?
No.
No. Familiar with St. Cloud? Did you do any work in St. Cloud?
No.
No.
I came to St. Cloud because Ford Insurance Company was there.
Okay.
And I had my trailer, I was getting the house insurance through them.
Okay. That's the only connection you have in St. Cloud. Okay. Well, in 1991, a female by the name of Julia Wilbanks, okay, she was found in St. Cloud, close here. She was deceased, okay? Does she look familiar at all to you? She is from Kissimmee and was in Kissimmee area.
No, sir.
No. You can take a closer look at it if you want. Yeah, you can look at it.
I don't believe that it's not somebody I ever dated or anything. No, I don't. Doesn't ring a bell.
Doesn't ring a bell at all. Okay. She's from Kissimmee around the same time that you were, that you lived there as well. Okay. And she did some sex work and stuff like that. Did you, in that time frame, did you have any relationships with maybe prostitutes or sex workers at all?
No.
Nothing you did that? Any drugs or anything like that? No drug
I
history?
was going to NA back then.
Okay. What for?
And, sir?
Well, I'm sorry. Continue.
And drinking, and then 4 years ago, the 13th of next month, I'll have 4 years sober. I damn near lost my wife. I didn't realize how much she was drinking. She had an operation, quit drinking for 2 days, and went into DT's in the middle of the night. I got the ambulance there, and when she got out of the hospital and she had to go to a nursing home for a while, we both joined AA. And so where I was headed today, to the grocery store and to an AA meeting when I got picked up.
Okay. What was you drink alcohol? What was your drink of choice?
Budweiser and Crown Royal.
Crown Royal. Okay.
So you never did any narcotics or anything? Listen.
Back in the day in Orlando, we lived out by SeaWorld off of Orangewood Boulevard. We did some coke, my brother and I, and another fellow that's deceased now.
Okay. How often do you think you do that?
God, I don't know. Weekends if we had it.
Okay. You and a friend?
Me and my brother and a roommate, and he passed away.
What's your brother's name?
Dan Wallach.
Dang, look, and he passed away, or?
No, the roommate passed away.
Was it from drugs?
No, he had cancer.
And does your brother still live around here as well?
He lives in Winter Park,
Is it Winter Park?
and
Is
he
this,
just walked away from the drugs. He didn't have a problem.
Okay. Biological brother?
No stepbrother.
A stepbrother? Okay. From your dad or your mom's side?
My mom's side.
Gene's stepbrother was also brought in for questioning that same day. His footage might be a topic for another video if this case gets enough attention. But first, the detectives have to deal with Gene.
Any idea as to why your name would come up?
No, unless maybe she went to NA or something.
Okay, did you went to NA back then too?
Yeah. It was there was a treatment center off of OBT, and I want to say Oak Street was an AA clubhouse.
Okay. It's possible, yeah.
That would make sense.
But she doesn't sound familiar in the newspapers or anything like that? No. Okay, and she was found deceased here locally as well.
Trying to figure out how the hell my name popped up.
Well, we'll let you know. And we've been, the detective, I've been working this case for a long time. Okay, things in law enforcement takes time. It's not like on TV. You get an hour show. 20 minutes of that is commercials. Okay, as you know. So these cases do take a long time. Some of these cases are expensive. You know, especially when you're trying to get, you know what DNA is?
Yes.
Okay, that's very expensive. Very, very expensive. And so it's not like we call up and say, run this DNA. That's not how that works. We need to get permission all the way up. Probably definitely goes to the chief. Maybe even goes beyond him because that's how expensive it is. Right, so these cases do take a long time, but your name did pop up in the investigation.
And it takes a while. This type of science behind it, it's extravagant.
Right.
It took a long time for things to be able to be developed, to be able to analyze things as well as they do now. Because in 1991, obviously technology is not like it is today. Smartphones and things like that, you can find out things like that. I'm sure that you're aware of that. And like Corporal was saying, it takes time for us to get the right DNA and to analyze it, okay? And like I mentioned, she was found deceased, and your name came up in the investigation, okay? And it was all connected through DNA. Blood DNA.
And, you know, we're not here to lie to you. Okay? Our job here is to find out the truth, what happened. Because this lady here, I don't know her, the detective doesn't know her, but she has a family. And no matter what we do here, she's not gonna come back. Okay? But at least we can give the family some peace of mind. I'm not sure how much peace of mind. It depends on who the person is. I've never been to a situation where a loved one of mine was found the way she was found. So I can't tell you, I can't tell them, I know how you feel. Because I don't know how you feel. Our job here is to find out what really happened, why it happened. That's important. The families want to know why. They already know what happened. For 30 years, they don't know why it happened.
Her son was 8 years old when this happened and has grown up the rest of his life now knowing what happened to his mom, but not knowing why Why did it happen? And he grew up from 8 years, he's in his 40s now, with his own family, and he has no closure as to what happened to his mom. And that's what we're here trying to figure out.
Something becomes apparent very early in this interrogation, and once you notice it, you can't unsee it. Gene is not confused. He is not caught off guard. He's not sitting across from these detectives, struggling to understand why he's been brought in over something that happened before some of these officers were born. He tracks everything. He follows the questions. He knows what they're building toward. Think about what that actually means. If you were genuinely innocent, if a detective sat you down and told you your DNA was found on a murder victim from 1991, your first reaction wouldn't be careful, measured deflection. It would be chaos. You'd be reaching back through decades of memory trying to make sense of something that made no sense. You'd be asking questions, not answering them. Confusion would be written all over you because confusion would be the only honest response. Gene doesn't have that reaction. He has the reaction of a man who has spent a very long time knowing this conversation was possible. And that tells the detectives almost everything they need to know before the real questioning has even begun.
So we want to give you the opportunity of telling us why this happened so we can tell the families.
I don't have any answers for you.
Gene, I don't believe that. Okay, we wouldn't be sitting here talking to you about this. I know there's a side of the story. Okay, I know you have a side of the story. Everybody has one. Like he's saying, there's a reason why we're here talking to you today. Okay, your blood was on her.
That cannot change. The percentage is 1.6 trillion to 1. There's not even a trillion people in the world. That we cannot get away from. That you can't get away from. Right? So, I know it was a long time ago. Things happen. All right? But, like I said, we know you were there because your blood was there. And blood is better than a fingerprint. Much better than a fingerprint.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't know anything.
I can't imagine how this has weighed on you for 33 years. That pressure and always having that in the back of your mind, knowing what happened. And I know it can build up. And I know in 2015 it built up quite a bit. Okay? So I know you've been stressing out about this since it happened. It's not something that you can just forget. Okay? I know that. And I know that you've been wanting to try and talk to somebody about this. Okay? Now's your opportunity to finally let it out. Okay? And finally get it off.
I don't know what you want me to say. I know nothing about this.
Gene,
What?
I know that's not true.
So if you're saying you don't know nothing about this, how comes your blood was there?
I don't know. I don't know that it was. You're telling me it was, but if I wasn't there, how's my blood get there?
Good question. Good question. That will never change. Like I said before, we're not here to lie to you. Really not. Like, it doesn't benefit us one bit. Right? Myself and the detective here, we're not getting promoted off this case. That's not how this goes. Right? We're not becoming movie stars off this case. That's all TV. Okay? But the one thing that we know that will never ever change here is that your blood was on her. That can't change. maybe you have a rational reason why it's there, and I'm willing to listen to that. But that doesn't change. We're not just the two who have been working on this case. A lot of people have been looking on this case, even back then, when St. Cloud was nothing. Nobody knew what St. Cloud was. And so back since this lady was discovered until today, people have been working on this case. Maybe not daily. So we just happen to be the last two. And that's what this is. You have to explain, okay, you're saying that you weren't there, you don't know what happened. Okay, how did her blood get on her? How did your blood, not his, not mine, not siblings of yours, yours. Remember, 1.6 trillion to 1. And that's what you're going to have to answer to. Because think about it. If you're on the other side, you're on my side and I'm over there, and you know that 1.6 trillion to 1, but done by DNA labs, that this is what they do. And the person is telling, and I'm telling you, I don't know anything, I wasn't anywhere. You're gonna, what would you think?
I don't know what to think. I do not know how this happened.
That's why we're here. We want to find out what happened.
I don't know.
Are you taking any kind of medications or anything like that?
Blood pressure, cholesterol.
Okay. Majority of Americans are taking that.
The detectives are still holding back at this point. They've laid out the broad strokes, why Gene is here, what this is about. But they haven't shown their hand yet. No DNA numbers, no crime scene photos, no hard confrontations. Just a conversation, calm and unhurried, giving Gene every opportunity to volunteer something useful before the walls start closing in. This is deliberate. Experienced interrogators know that pressure applied too early can cause a suspect to shut down completely, lawyer up, and say nothing for the rest of the interview. But a suspect who feels relatively comfortable, who thinks he still has room to maneuver, will keep talking.
Okay? So we know a little bit about who we're dealing with. And I've been doing this a long time. I've interviewed hardcore killers that when they are talking about what they did, I can see in their eyes they are enjoying it. It's like a movie with them. They tell, and to me, you're definitely not that person. You know, I've also interviewed people that made mistakes. We all make mistakes in life. So, which person are you? Are you a hardcore killer or a person that made a mistake in his life and has been keeping this in for 30-something years? I give you all the props. I don't know if I could keep it in for 30-something years. I don't know. But I know for a fact you did. And that's to say something. So, we got to figure this out.
You've battled that anger and fear for the last 33 years from when this happened. Okay? You've made amends in every other way and then corrected every other thing about your life. But we haven't made amends and fixed this. Okay? It's time that we can take care of this.
I don't have amends to make here. I don't know her. I didn't do it. I'm sorry. I got
Now, you don't have to be sorry to us, but it's, the problem is the blood. It's a huge problem. All right, we're gonna take a break.
Is there any way I can call my wife and let her know what's going on?
We'll give you an opportunity, okay?
You got a phone with you?
The last policeman that brought me in.
Do you know your wife's phone number off the top of your mind? Okay, we can make sure we get that for you. What's her number?
847.
All right. Let us know if you need to use the restroom or
I
anything.
probably got a pee.
Okay,
All
we'll help get that taken care of, okay?
What the detective does here is masterful. Without raising his voice, he draws a clear line in the sand and the entire tone of the room shifts. Then they pull back, giving Gene a moment to breathe, to think, to construct whatever story he believes will hold up. It looks like generosity. It isn't. The explanation a suspect builds in that pause is almost always more revealing than anything that came before it.
So, your blood was on her, okay? I want you to fully understand the gravity of that, right? Your blood was found on her while she was just like this, okay? And it's taken 33 years for us to get to that point, to identify whose blood that was, and that it is yours, your blood, okay? And up until this point, it's taken till right now for us to be able to charge somebody in this, okay? And this case has been presented to a judge, and a judge has deemed that it's enough for an arrest, okay? You understand that?
I hear you. Yes, sir.
You understand the gravity of that?
Yeah.
And like we've said, we're here to find out why and what happened. It's been 33 years. We have no idea what actually happened to her and what caused this. Okay, we know the reason and the cause of her death, but we don't know what happened beyond that. There's only one person that does.
I'm going to show you something to show our good faith. You may think in your mind, they may be bluffing me, right? I'm going to prove to you we're not bluffing. You can read that. What the detective just said, that's what's there. That's what we just got. Thank you. Come on, Gene, we need to know what happened.
I do not know. I don't know how my blood is there. I didn't know the woman.
You may not know her. That might be true. But there was some type of connection there enough for your blood to end up on her.
Mm-hmm.
What happened, Gene?
Sir?
I said, what happened, Gene?
I don't know anything, sir. I can't tell you what I don't know.
I appreciate that. Did you help moving her?
I don't know anything about her.
Well, Gene, that's where the problem lies. Your blood. I notice you've been looking at the pictures, and they're pretty bad.
Yeah, I try not to look at it. When I walk over, if I'm going to look at it, it catches my eye.
Yeah, of course. I can show exactly where, on this photo, where your blood was located. It's right there on the right side of her shorts. Okay? We have those shorts with us. We've analyzed them, and it's been tested for the last 33 years. And it took us till right now to identify whose blood that is. And it's not just, it's a mixture of yours, hers, and yours separately on her, okay? It's taken us this long to identify that blood. And then we have your DNA and collected it and compared it, and it was a match. 1.6 trillion. Gene, there's an explanation there. Just by you talking to us for the last hour, we know you're not a bad guy. And we know you've had some anger problems. Everybody has anger problems, right? We know you've battled and struggled with that, and you've been working on that. Was this just something that you made the mistake, you couldn't control yourself?
I didn't do it. I didn't know her. I can't tell you what I don't know.
And how you explain your blood on it?
I can't.
After over an hour of unwavering denial, the detectives finally play their strongest card: DNA evidence placing Gene's blood directly on the victim's shorts. A 1 in 1.6 trillion match. Cold case technology has done what decades couldn't. Gene is visibly unsettled, his eyes drawn to the crime scene photos despite himself. The detectives pivot strategically, offering him a way out. Frame it as a loss of control, not a monster. Gene doesn't take it.
Where the problem is?
I understand you keep telling me my blood's there. I don't know how.
All right? Nobody's going to believe you. They're going to say, well, there is only certain ways for your blood to get on her. There is contact somehow between you and her. That's the only way it gets there. I've been racking my brain to say, how could this gentleman's blood be on her? And it boils down to one thing all the time. There was contact between both of them. What that contact is, you have to fill that in. I can't fill it in for you. Because your blood just doesn't go out of you and get onto somebody. Right? Tells me you got hurt, you got injured, and you bled. That's the only way blood gets on somebody. The skin has to be covered. That's the only way. And that's where the whole issue that you're going to have. So you can say, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I was never there. They're going to go, okay. Well, the blood, and these are experts are going to testify. The medical examiner is going to testify to how blood gets from one person to the next person. And there's only one way to do that. There is contact somehow. Whether it's contact from place A or place B, there is contact. That's the only way. So that's what we're dealing with right now. And like the detective said, this has been presented to a judge. Judge signed an arrest warrant for you. So the judge is looking at the evidence and he has everything. They're not talking to us. He's looking at the evidence also. And he's going, okay, how do we know this is this gentleman's blood? He says it's DNA. Where was his DNA? What DNA? Because there are different types of DNA. Blood. Okay? Where was the blood? On the victim. That's hard to dispute unless you come up with a logical answer. That's why I asked you, did you help move her? Could be, that's how you know. I'm trying to think.
I didn't have anything to do with anything.
Okay. Then who had?
Sir?
Then who had that? If you didn't have nothing to do with anything, then who had something to do with it?
I know nothing about it. I didn't hurt her. I don't know who did.
And you're saying you don't know how your blood got on her.
Yes, sir, I'm saying that.
Okay. Nobody's gonna believe you.
Okay,
A jury's not gonna believe you.
okay.
A jury's gonna think he's saying, or through his attorney, he's gonna say A, B, and C, and they're gonna go, that's not plausible. It's not like she was wearing your shoes. She was wearing your socks. Okay? She may have stolen it. Okay? You may have thrown it out and she found it and put it on. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you?
I understand what you're saying. I've cleaned up a lot of shit in the last 4 years. I can't
I know,
clean up what I don't have anything to do with.
And I can see it weighing on you. I can see it in your eyes. And it's weighed on you for the entire time since it's happened. And I know in 2015, you had struggled with it. And can you go through and explain kind of what happened back then?
What do you
So
mean in
2015,
2015 I
the Osceola
struggled
County
with what?
Sheriff's Office, you were placed under a Baker Act.
Oh, yeah.
The detectives hammer home a simple, unavoidable truth. Blood doesn't travel on its own. Contact had to happen. They walk Gene through exactly what a jury would hear, what experts will testify to, and why his denial holds no water in a courtroom. But then something shifts. One detective tells Gene he can see it in his eyes, that this has weighed on him for decades. It's a classic pressure move. Close off escape. Then offer confession as relief before court defines it for him.
My wife and I was arguing over her daughter. And I put my gun to my head and said, if it's gonna keep being like this, I don't care to be here. I set it back down, I left. I come back in to get the gun because I figured she'd do away with it. She did. I went to work. I went in the maintenance shop. I think it was a Sunday. They were closed. Don't ask me why, but you're not allowed to smoke in the building. I come outside to smoke. Sheriffs were there. She had found my car. She was in the parking lot too. They come and got me. The Baker acted me. Because I was upset over family life, that her daughter always had to have her nose in it. And I was trying to explain to my wife how pissed off I was about it.
And I know some of the statements you made to those deputies.
Okay? I don't remember.
You said, I can't tell you what really happened, because if I did, I wouldn't be going home. Was it because of this?
No. I just told you what that was about. Her daughter kept sticking her nose in our marriage.
And that's gonna cause you to put a gun to your head.
That caused me to put a gun to my head because it was constant. It was either her way or no way. And the daughter's not even involved in her life anymore because she finally saw what the daughter was doing.
So based on that, you were willing to take your own life.
I was trying to explain to her how upset I was about the thing at the house. The daughter always interfering.
I understand, I get that, but you think that's...
But I did not intend on shooting
Then why
myself
you put a gun to your head?
because I was trying to get her to see how upset I was.
That's going like 1,000%.
There have been many, many arguments over it and she wouldn't listen. So I thought if I did something drastic, maybe she'd stop and listen.
Did she stop and listen?
Years later, after we got sober,
So right there and then, or shortly thereafter, that didn't change anything.
no, because I still drank. The wife drank. Nothing changed until almost 4 years ago when she damn near died.
Right. No,
The daughter sent her a message that said she was doing her homework for her step work, and the daughter called. She said, "I'm doing homework right now." Daughter texted her, said, "Let me know when you have time for me." For 2 frickin' years, the daughter hadn't gotten contact with her.
Mm.
And when she did, she said, "You know, I have to go to counseling over this." And I said to Cindy, well, she called. I said, "That was something really cool to your mom. When you know what she's battling with, you got to be the victim on it." Last time she's even come around was her mom's birthday last November.
Where does that daughter live?
Is it Ocoee or Oviedo
Oh,
if you
she
go out
lives in-
436?
She lives here in Florida.
Yeah,
I know you mentioned one lives in New Jersey.
yeah, that's the son.
Okay.
So your work injury, where were you working when it happened?
In the maintenance shop, bending a piece of metal in a vise.
Which maintenance shop?
The main laundry for the Advent Health is behind Forest Lake Academy in Apopka.
Okay,
And he's not there anymore, but Marvin Bursky was the director at the time.
okay. How long did you work there?
20 years.
Worked there 20 years. So, and you just retired in December. So 2004 is about when you got hired there and started working there?
2003, I think.
Okay. And then at some point in your tenure of working there, this injury on your forehead?
Yeah, there's a workman's comp claim on it, because I had to go get stitches.
Just here or on here too?
Here, this is from cancer taken out in last year, I believe. I got pictures of it on my phone, because they cut it from here to here and cut the cancer out. They had to keep going deeper, and then they pinched it together and sewed it. I have pictures of that on my phone. But yeah, there's a workman's comp claim for that.
Okay. So before working there, you had no scarring?
No.
Okay. Any other scars or injuries you suffered through the years?
Just operations. I had this hand redone, this hand redone, I've had my shoulder redone.
Because she fought back when this was happening. She tried to have this stopped. And that there's evidence to say that.
You keep going back to that, and I know nothing about
Gene.
this.
This is what we're here for.
Okay, you can Gene me all you want. I know nothing about it. My scars have nothing to do with it. This is documented, this is documented, this is documented, this is documented.
Now, how can we explain how your blood ended up on her?
I don't know.
Do you understand, right, when they ask you, how do you explain that her blood, your blood, got on her, and your answer is, I don't know? What do you think they're going to think?
The detectives used the 2015 Baker Act as a window into Gene's state of mind, a man capable of drastic, impulsive behavior when pushed to his limits. Gene's explanation is almost sympathetic: family tension, alcohol, a cry for attention. But then, almost casually, while walking through a list of old injuries and surgeries, Gene says something he can't take back. His shoulder, he explains, was injured because she fought back. The exchange reveals his strategy: test his story, trigger emotion, and expose cracks in control.
I don't have an answer to that either.
They're going to think you're not being honest. That's what they're going to think. Because like I said before, there's only a couple ways your blood gets on her. And the only one way I can come up with is that there was some kind of contact. Had to be. Because it's blood. My blood's not going to get on you. Your blood's not going to get on me unless we have close contact. We can be probably 5 feet away from each other. My blood's not going to get on you. And your blood's not going to get on me. Now, we're fighting, and we are close contact. That's different. And by saying, I don't know, there's one thing you say, but I don't remember. That's different. People forget. I forget stuff. You'd be surprised what I forget.
I believe I would remember if I had something to do with that.
Well, I would hope so. But that's what we call in the business up close contact, up and close. 17 stab wounds, that's close. It's not like you shot her or somebody shot her 17 times. You do it from 25 yards. If you're a good shot. Okay? And that's not close. Her blood is not going to get on you. Now, if you shot her maybe 3 feet, yeah, because you have blowback. Right? But a knife, you got to get up close. Have to get up close. That's why butchers, they're all full of blood. Because they got to get up close to cut that animal. So, saying, I don't know, people are going to wonder. The judge is going to wonder. It's not like somebody else's DNA was on her. Only yours. Yours in a mixture with hers. Like this. So there's contact. Her blood, your blood mixture, your blood by itself on her. But you still have that mixture. That's close contact. Right? Experts will tell you that. So this is where we are right now. And like I said, you don't look like a cold-blooded killer. You don't. Right? The guy that made a mistake, yeah, you don't make mistakes. So, when was the last time you ate?
Last night.
You must be hungry right now.
Not really. I'm afraid if I eat something, I'd throw up.
I can only offer. You understand?
I'm good. What I'd really like to do is call my wife.
Okay.
She's got to be worried shitless.
Yeah, we'll give you that opportunity to call her before you leave here.
What do you plan on telling your wife?
What you guys told me,
How do you think she's gonna react?
probably won't believe it. I'm gonna have her call my sponsor, I'm gonna have her call my parents and make different arrangements for tomorrow. And I guess I'm not going home. You said the judge says he can arrest me, so I imagine I'm not going home.
People are gonna look at this and either picture you and create you as a monster or somebody that just made a mistake. Which way do you want to be perceived?
I don't know how I'm involved in this. I know you tell me there's blood there that's mine.
Yeah, because it's serious.
Yeah,
And we don't take it lightly. We don't. You can steal a bicycle. We don't care about that. Somebody's life was stolen. Can't get any worse than that. Can't. So, we're here to give you the opportunity to put our fears down. Right now, you don't feel like having anything to eat? Okay. You'll let me know if you do? Okay. Do you have the DNA stuff in there? Sure so. You may not believe us.
I don't disdoubt you.
I don't take it personal, sir. Just showing it to you what we got. It's, like I said, I'm not here to lie to you or to con you or anything like that. And treat you the same way I want to be treated. And that's how I work.
The DNA profile obtained from this sample is approximately 1.9 trillion times likely that it originated from Sue Wilbanks and Gene Stuller.
Remember, there's not even 1 trillion people in the world. A couple of billion, but not trillions.
Gene Stuller cannot be excluded as a contributor to this DNA profile obtained. The chance that an unrelated person chosen at random from the general population would be included as a contributor to this DNA profile is approximately 1 in every 930 septillion individuals. There's never even been septillion amount of people on Earth.
So what that is telling you is, except for you, there's no one else in the world that blood could be. From the start of mankind.
At this point, the detective tightens the noose with simple logic. Blood means contact, and contact means proximity to a brutal stabbing. He contrasts "I don't know" with "I don't remember," framing Gene's denial as something a jury will see as impossible. Then, after softening with food, a call to his wife, and talk of perception, he returns to the DNA numbers. So overwhelming, they leave Gene with almost no psychological room to hide from it.
That goes back to Genesis. There haven't been that many people born, except for you. And that's why we're here. So go ahead.
This is your chance.
I was just about to say that.
This is the opportunity right now to finally lay out everything. Because your blood ended up here. And like he has said, your blood's not going to fall from the sky. It's not going to come out of your mouth like saliva. Something happened to cause your blood to end up on her, right here. Her right there. Okay? It was right here on her shorts. That's a fact.
Right.
Proven by evidence.
Right, and that's not going to change. That it will not change. So, in your mind, so well, you could be an error. No, we had this tested several times. Especially when we checked you out and said, no, can't be him. But like I said before, there is a reason behind everything in life. Everything. Go to an intersection, you make a left turn instead of a right turn, and you know, there's an accident when you make a right turn. There's a reason why.
How often do you and your wife go to Keller Barbecue?
Oh, at least a couple times a week.
Okay. Yep. We've been watching you. And we collected your DNA for a comparison for this. And then it was a match with those numbers that I just read to you. Okay? This is how we got here.
And that wasn't cheap. Take it from me, it's not cheap.
So Gene, we know something happened. Okay? It's time to give yourself some closure for this.
Come on, Gene, get it off your shoulder. You can't get around this.
I can't tell you what I don't know.
Are you susceptible to blackouts, not remembering things?
Not since I quit drinking 4 years ago.
Now, when you were drinking, right? Do you ever black out?
Towards the end of my drinking after I got married, yes.
Okay, explain one instant.
Oh, I fell in the garage and didn't remember till I saw where I cracked my head on a shelf I had at a tile. And then I come in and fell and hit the metal trash can and dented it. Didn't realize it.
Yeah, but you remember those things afterwards, right? You fell in the garage.
Yeah, I had to research it the next day because I had the gash in my head.
How do you mean? How did you research it?
My wife come in and saw the blood on the thing, and
Oh, so she found you?
she found me on the kitchen floor, yeah.
Okay. But you had no recollection of anything that wasn't for your wife. You said you did the research.
Well, saw the blood on the tile, it was painted white, saw the dent in the can that she told me I put there. There was blood on the floor from where my head was bleeding.
So you saw somebody, so it had to be you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. Makes sense. Was there any instances where, let's say, you got home, you woke up the next day, you don't remember how you got home, you don't remember where you were?
There's times I've come home and not remembered what I did the night before, yes, when I had been drinking heavily.
Okay.
Any times where you would show up and have injuries that you can't even explain?
No, I knew where that come from.
Okay, what about before you met your wife? Been drinking with you and your brother, doing cocaine? Ever have any episodes, moments where the following day you're like, I don't know what happened, and you've got these injuries?
No, people usually tell me, because I'd been drinking with friends or something.
Okay. Did you ever handle in with any prostitutes or anything like that?
No.
It was common in the area where you lived. And I know she would stay at the Budget Inn, and that's about 2 miles from where you used to live in Kissimmee. Ever have any relationships with any prostitutes?
Well, when I lived in Orlando, I used to go to the Mousetrap.
A mousetrap.
What's that?
It
Strip
was-
club?
Yeah.
Do you have any relationships with any girls at the strip club?
I'd get laid,
Yeah, that's a relationship.
okay?
Okay.
Would never venture out to anybody that, may not be in a club and would offer services on the street.
No.
Did you ever do any work in McLaren Circle?
Did I do any work there?
Any partying?
No.
Did you ever get drugs from McLaren Circle?
I believe I did once and got picked up by the
Drug-wise? What was it they tried to get?
cocaine, I believe.
Okay. Okay. So there's some connections between her and you now. She's familiar with McLaren Circle. She was in McLaren Circle too. She did cocaine as well. With the DNA numbers hanging in the air, the detectives make one final push for a confession. Gene doesn't give them one, so they pivot. Could he have blacked out, not remembered? Gene admits it happened more than once, and then, almost imperceptibly, the geography of this case begins to collapse. McLaurin's Circle, cocaine, a victim who frequented the same area. For the first time in nearly 2 hours, Gene and Julie Wilm exist in the same world. Could something have came up between that? Could you have tried to buy something from her? Because you used her services? Do
No, the person I bought from was a black guy.
you remember his name?
No,
I don't remember his name.
no, I was scared to death to go in there.
How many times you bought from that guy?
The night I got caught,
Just that one time?
Yeah.
What did you buy?
cocaine.
Think of a nickname that he went by or a street name or anything?
Now, back in those days, do you ever try to, say, supplement your income by selling a little bit on the side?
No.
You just use it? And who again were you using with?
Myself.
Or all by yourself? Your brother wasn't there?
No, because we had moved from where we all lived together.
Mm-hmm. It must have been nerve-wracking going to buy narcotics by yourself. That's pretty scary, right?
Yeah.
Like, show you the warrant. So just remember, you're going to be charged with murder. That's serious. And there's no explanation. None. And that's where the problem is. Because not because somebody killed somebody else, I believe they should spend the rest of their lives in prison. Right? Somebody who hurts my little girl, I'm killing them. That's the way it is. So it's hard. They have something that's called justifiable homicide. Just like a police officer shoots and kills somebody. Right? Whatever reason. Could be the guy could be shooting up a bank. And he gets in and he shoots and kills the robber. Saves the people in the bank or the kids in the school. It's still murder. What's called justifiable murder. The murder is the taking of somebody else's life. Not by natural causes. So when you hear officers on the news shooting and killing somebody, it's a murder. It's a justifiable murder most of the time. So this could be it too. Who knows? But if you're saying you don't remember, I can't force you to remember. If I could do that, I'd be a billionaire. I wouldn't be in this room. So, but out of three of us here, only you know. That's the only one. You're the only one that knows. The only thing that we know is that we can put you there. And that's all DNA. DNA is a wonderful thing. No matter what people say. I wasn't there, I don't know what you're talking about, all this kind of stuff. If I can put his DNA or her DNA there, nobody cares what they think. Your DNA is there. Your DNA doesn't walk around. I can capture somebody in a video camera. There may be somebody that looks like him. Could be his twin. And he's saying, that's not me. And maybe it's not him, maybe somebody that looks like him, depends on how clear the video is. But I say, well, no, we got his DNA. We got his blood DNA. There's different kinds of DNA. That's a hard one to get around. Make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
We've had this blood sample since this happened. All it took was just technology to catch back up to us.
Yeah.
Because we had this evidence, it has been waiting around for 33 years to be identified.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, until just now. It's taken 33 years, and since this year, some months, to be able to identify it and get it tested and get us in the direction of you. And then we start looking into you, Okay, this guy's got no history, nothing, right? Couple DUIs, a drug charge, that's it. And then we do some surveillance on you, and we collect a sample of your DNA. Then we get it tested by the same lab that's tested these shorts and the blood that happened from this incident, and it's a match.
Yeah, they didn't say it's a partial match.
You said what?
And they didn't say it was a partial match. The amount of match they're talking about, not that many humans ever born.
You heard the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, something happened between the two of you that resulted in your blood ending up on her. And the only person that's going to be able to give us what happened is you.
I can't give it to you.
Okay. Evidence doesn't lie.
Witnesses do. People will lie in court. People will lie to us constantly. All right? DNA doesn't lie. It's better than a fingerprint. And you see, I'm pretty sure you watch all these shows on TV. Linked by DNA. Or even sometimes exonerated by DNA. Because back in these days here, DNA wasn't a thing.
The detectives float a lifeline. Justifiable homicide. Maybe something happened between them. Maybe it wasn't cold-blooded. But Gene wouldn't grab it. He has no explanation, no alternative theory, nothing. And so they lay out the full picture one more time. Surveillance, a covert DNA collection, the same lab, the same shorts, 33 years of waiting. Not a partial match. Not a maybe. The evidence that has been sitting in a bag since 1991 has finally found its man. Shortly after, another detective will join on the questioning.
Gene, Sergeant Backer. I've been kind of listening in on the interview. And I just have some questions that I need answered for myself, okay? Because I've read the reports, I've read the genealogy. I kind of understand the science behind it. What I cannot understand and what you have not been able to explain is how your blood is on this woman's shorts. This woman who was found stabbed to death right outside of this building back in 1991. And that's why I'm in here, because I need to figure out how that's possible.
I don't have an answer. I keep saying I don't have an answer.
So we can agree that you lived in Kissimmee in 1991, right?
Probably, yeah.
And I know for a fact that this woman lived in Kissimmee in 1991. You mentioned you had a cocaine problem back then.
Yeah.
This woman had a cocaine problem back then. You mentioned that you had some interactions with sex workers back then.
No.
Well, you
believe I
said
said
you got laid in a sex club.
Oh, Mousetrap up in Orlando. I
Okay.
dated some of the people that worked there.
Well,
Went out with them.
you could technically call them
Okay.
sex workers then if they
All right.
provided you
Dancers.
services for money.
Okay.
This woman was a sex worker. I don't know that she worked there. She more, as far as I know, worked the streets. But she also frequented areas like McLaren Circle, which you said you frequented.
No, I said I went once and then was sent back in
Okay.
because I got stopped on the way out.
And you went there with the intent to buy cocaine.
Yes, sir.
And she also used cocaine. You said you had an alcohol problem, right? That caused you to have blackouts?
I have blacked out drinking, yes.
And And the fact that you cannot explain how your blood ended up on this woman's shorts, you don't think that could be because of your drug and alcohol use? That maybe you had some sort of blackout? Maybe you were with this woman one night?
When I blacked out, I was mostly at home and lived in Orlando, where I live now. There was a 10-year period where I didn't go to meetings, but I was sober because of my wife, because her first husband was an alcoholic.
Okay, but in 1991 you were not sober.
No, off and on.
In 1991 you were using drugs and alcohol at the same time.
I would imagine then, yes.
You would imagine?
I drank, and I because I was going to NA and AA.
Is there a lot from that time period that you can't remember?
No, I can probably tell you where I worked and what I drove, and
But how about when you weren't at work and when you weren't driving, when you were out enjoying your weekend off or your nights, having some drinks, having some cocaine?
I very seldom drank out. It's too expensive to drink out. I drink at home. That's where we were drinking before we got sober, my wife and I, at home.
But you admit that you did drink and you used cocaine and you weren't always working.
Yeah.
So on those nights and weekends where you were not at work and you were drinking and you were using cocaine, how was your memory then? Can you remember every one of those nights? Can you remember the finite
Probably
details?
not, no.
So is it possible that you met up with this other cocaine user? Maybe you guys hung out together. Maybe it was just an acquaintance. Maybe she tried to sell you drugs. Maybe she tried to steal your drugs. And maybe something happened. Maybe there was an argument. Maybe there was a fight. Maybe she stabbed you first. But there's got to be a reason. There's got to be an explanation for how your blood ended up on her shorts.
I don't have a clue. The girl does not ring a bell. I'm sure I would remember that crap.
I would hope you'd remember it just because of how intense the situation probably played out. But this right here is your one opportunity to give your side of the story on how it played out and why it played out. But if you can't remember it, then it's going to have to go with how our report reads, which is that this lady was stabbed 17 times and then dumped on the side of a highway. And your blood and her blood are in a combined mixture on her shorts. The shorts she was wearing when she was stabbed 17 times and dumped on the side of a highway.
I don't have a side of the story.
Okay. Just wanted to give you an opportunity, if you had a side, to air it out.
I don't have a side of the story.
Because that, like I said, that's the story that we put forward to the judge. That's the story that the judge signed an arrest warrant on. That's the story that your parents are going to hear, that your wife is going to hear.
It's the story I'm going to tell them if I have the opportunity
Which is what?
to make a phone call. Let my wife know what's going on. He told me I would get to do that.
Oh, okay. I understand. So that's the story you're going to tell them, that your blood ended up on a murder victim's shorts. A murder victim who was stabbed 17 times and dumped on the side of a highway. And you can't provide any explanation of why.
That's what I will tell my wife, yes.
Okay.
It's the only story I have.
You know, there's a possibility that you'll spend the rest of your life in prison.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm figuring right now.
You seem very calm for a person who's being accused of a violent murder. Like, not shocked.
I don't know what to do. I'm scared as hell. I don't know. My insides are like this.
I
I
hear
do
you.
not know what to do.
I hear you're saying that, but that's not the reaction that I'm seeing. Your body language isn't showing that. Your body language is
How am I
speaking with
supposed to
someone.
be acting?
Well, I've seen people who are accused of things they didn't do, and it's a different reaction. Not all of them have the same reaction, but it's very different from the reaction that you're having now. The reaction that you're having now is one of content. Like, it finally caught up with you, and you've just given up, and you have nothing to say. Not surprised, not angry, not confused, just content.
No, I'm not content. I'm scared as hell, and I'm worried for my wife. You're telling me that I'm there. I'm telling you I wasn't. I don't know what to do. What good is it going to do me to kick and scream and cuss and carry on? I've learned to be a little better than that.
It
the
won't
last
do you
few
any
years,
good, but that is
okay?
the most common reaction for someone accused of something this violent when they know that they're innocent of it.
In my head, what I've learned to believe is this will work out the way God wants it to work out. That's the spirituality that I've learned through the AA program. Things take care of themselves. It doesn't do me any good to kick and scream.
A new detective enters, Sergeant Becker, and methodically reconstructs every overlap between Gene and the victim. Same neighborhood, same drug, same world. He offers Gene the most reasonable exit possible, a blackout, a chance encounter. Maybe she came at him first. Gene has nothing. And then Becker says what everyone in that room has been thinking. Gene isn't shocked. He isn't angry. He's calm, like a man who's been waiting 33 years for a knock at the door. After a while of going back and forth, the detectives leave the room and 2 other police officers enter to take his DNA.
All right, like I explained to you, Mr. Stuller, right? Well, you do have a search warrant for your DNA, so I'm gonna go ahead and read that to you, okay? In the Ninth Judicial Circuit Court and for Osceola, Florida, in the name of the state of Florida, to all and singular, the sheriffs of the state of Florida, agents of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and/or any investigators of the state attorney's office, and/or any member of the St. Cloud Police Department. Before me, Eric Dubois, circuit judge in and for Osceola County, Florida. I receive a sworn affidavit from Detective Devin Dunn, who first duly being sworn deposes and says that Appian has reason to believe that certain laws have been and are being violated, and on certain premises and curtilage thereof in Osceola County, Florida, described as follows. Address, directions, and description is going to be the St. Cloud Police Department located at 4700 Neptune Road, St. Cloud, Osceola County, Florida, 34769. The premises are currently under the control of Chief Kirby and is now being kept in and on premises and curtilage, Gene Stuller in control of. Your Appian hereby requests the court's permission to obtain a DNA standard from Gene A. Stuller via buccal swab and obtain Stuller's fingerprints for the continuation of the investigation. In violation of Florida State Statute 784.04, subsection 2, second degree murder, and Florida State Statute 406.12, 3B, disturbing a dead body or clothing article nearby. And whereas, a copy of which is incorporated and herein attached hereto, the fact establishing the grounds for the application being set forth in the affidavit of Detective Devin Dunn of the St. Cloud Police Department. Now therefore, you or either of you, which such lawful assistance as may be necessary and with a reasonable amount of force, as is necessary, hereby command in the daytime.
The detectives try one last angle, his wife. His 75-year-old wife with dementia, who he cooks for, manages doctor's appointments for, takes care of completely. Who's going to take care of her now? Gene doesn't break. He talks about AA, about his 73rd birthday 2 days away, about the last 4 years being the best of his life. Then they give him the phone, and Gene Stuller calls his wife to tell her he's never coming home.
Hello?
Cindy,
Yeah.
I am in St. Cloud,
St. Cloud.
and I'm going to jail for a murder that they have my DNA on that happened 33 years ago.
What's that do, babe?
I don't know. They keep questioning me and telling me that I'm not telling them something, and I have nothing to tell them. Okay, you gotta call mom and dad and tell them to get somebody to take them tomorrow, because I'm gonna be in jail.
Yeah.
Call and let him know what happened.
Yeah. How do I get in touch with you again?
I don't know. I know I'm going to probably Osceola County jail from here. I don't know. But I'm not coming home for a while.
Oh, babe. Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay, I did not take money out of the ATM, so there's $200 more in the checking account than looks like. I guess I'm gonna have to get a public defender. They're telling me there's no way that the DNA can be on that girl if I didn't do it. And honey, I didn't kill anybody.
I believe you, dear.
I love you so much. Please don't lose faith in me.
I absolutely will not lose faith in you. I love you.
They've been there.
No.
Yeah, they've been watching me for a while. They keep wanting me to tell them a story. The detectives keep saying, you're not a killer, we know your record. But I can't explain what happened. I've had 1, 2, 3, 2 ladies now, 5 different people in here. Keep telling me, we know you want to tell us something. I'm like, I don't have anything to tell.
This was supposed to have happened when?
91, I guess.
I just don't understand how this crashing down now.
Yeah, well, I guess you're gonna have to let mom and dad know why I'm here, but can you go out tomorrow and take them to their doctor's appointment?
I can try.
Or at least call them and tell them they're gonna have to get somebody else, and tell them I'm in jail for something that happened 33 years ago that I didn't do.
I will do that.
All right, and I don't know when I'll be able to call you again. I'm using their phone. I don't have my phone, and I don't know his number by heart. You're also gonna have to let them know that I'm not gonna be there Wednesday to chair.
Yeah.
And you have a doctor's appointment Thursday over there off of Palm Springs.
Yeah. Don't worry about that stuff. I'll talk to John. Maybe he can help me out and all the rest of the stuff.
All right, well, he will be at happy hour tonight.
Okay.
And I don't know how you'll get a hold of me, how I can get a hold of you. I guess I'm going to jail. And worst case scenario, I'm going to be in jail the rest of my life.
No, it's not happening. Not happening.
Well, I don't know. They're telling me there's nothing they can do if I don't tell them my side of the story, and I don't have my side of the story.
Yeah, and that's so far in the past. I can't.
I was honest about my drinking and drug use, and they said, well, maybe you blacked out. I'm like, I would remember that.
I would think.
All right, honey, I love you. I'm gonna let you go, and I'm so sorry. I was so surprised when we got pulled over, but they were evidently waiting for me. They've been watching me for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me call John and your phone.
All right. I love you. I'm so sorry. I love you to death.
Don't worry about it on my part, okay?
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
After this, the police tried one more time.
There's a couple of pictures I also want to show you, okay? And just to see if you may recognize them, okay?
Do you have a name to go with it?
His name's George Hall.
Oh, no.
No.
I was thinking maybe it was one of the black guys I used to work with out at the Orange Groves, but they didn't work with anybody named George.
No. Used to call him P. Hall.
No, that would be Shorty or Aaron that I worked with. I don't even know if they're still alive. I knew about that person. I gotta tell you, he's got a face that looks familiar, but I can't tell you where from or.
Okay. His name's Brian Brooks.
Yeah. No, sir.
No. Okay. His name's Ray Schutz.
Are they from Kissimmee?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, all these individuals are from Kissimmee. This guy's name is Thomas Charles Shelton. Doesn't sound familiar?
no, sir.
This is Alvin Shelton. None of these individuals are familiar at all.
No.
So those individuals had some kind of association with her and lived in the same areas as she did and you did as well, okay? And they were speak to originally when this happened about what happened. And your name only came up because of your blood. I gave you an opportunity to call your wife. I didn't have to do that. I could have made you wait until you got to the jail to do that, but I felt that that's something that I could give you right now. Okay?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know, you said you still have your father, your mother that you need to make arrangements for.
She's going to take care of that.
Yeah. So
She's going to get a hold of my sponsor and let him know what's going on.
okay. And I gave you that. Is there anything that you can give us about this?
I don't have anything to give you, sir. The two women that were in here, she's looking at me saying, I know you want to tell the truth. I don't have any truth to tell.
You understand?
If I could do something to make it look better on me, I would.
I understand that. Like I said before, we're here for just the truth. We're not here to let you say something that's not true. We're here for the truth. Okay? And the issue we have here is your blood. That's going to be a huge issue. to explain that. When you don't remember anything, you're not at all. So that's going to be a big problem. I'm pretty sure you can understand that.
Think about the totality of everything that we've told you, right? What happened to her, how we got to you. What do you think should happen to the person that did this?
Pay for it.
What do you mean by pay for it?
Whatever the due process is.
I think you had some involvement in this, okay? I just think you can't say it. I think that you just cannot say it.
Just like we said before. Are you a cold-blooded murderer or a guy that made a mistake? That's what it boils down to.
I can't tell you what I don't know.
We get that. Imagine what this poor lady went through. Because that's vicious. I don't wish this on my worst enemy. And I got a couple of them. I wouldn't want to see this happen to anybody. But this poor lady endured this, went through this, and now she's no longer here, which is unfortunate. Because I believe that God has a place for each and every one of us. But God don't have this. This is not in His. Whenever everybody's born, okay, you're gonna die at 13. You're gonna have heart disease. You're gonna have that. I don't believe He has that in mind for anybody. And I'm pretty sure you can understand that.
What'd your wife say all about this?
She doesn't believe it.
You blame her?
Do I blame her for not believing it?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is a big one.
I asked her to take my parents out or else go get my parents tomorrow or else call them.
Mm-hmm.
Let the group that I chair the Wednesday AA meeting for know that I can't be there. And to get a hold of my sponsor.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the sponsor's number and all that?
It's in my phone.
Okay.
The detectives show Gene photos of other men connected to the victim, all from the same neighborhood, all interviewed in 1991. Gene's name never came up back then. Only his blood did. They cycled through the same question one final time. Cold-blooded killer or a man who made a mistake? Gene won't take either option. As the interrogation winds down, his mind is already somewhere else. His AA meeting, his sponsor's number, his parents' arrangements, the practical concerns of a man who knows he's not walking out.
This is the whole case file of photos. We're just trying to get you to remember any kind of relationship, whether it be a 5-minute conversation you had with this lady, to a hookup, to you met at a party, hung out at a bar, some sort of explanation of how the two of you got close enough to where your DNA could end up on her.
Like we spoke before, that's a big one.
I don't have an explanation. I don't have an explanation.
That's an answer I cannot settle for, though, because.
It's the only one I have, sir.
But you understand,
You think if I didn't have an explanation, I would let you know? This is not looking good for me.
I think you're afraid to let me know the truth. And I think you're afraid to let me know because it would expose you to your wife and your mother and your father. It would expose the person who you were on that night back in 1991. And you don't want them to know that about you. That's what I think. Am I right?
My parents and my wife know I was not an angel before I got to where I don't drink at all anymore.
Okay.
We damn near got divorced over it. But what woke me up was her damn near dying. I was retired. I was home 24/7, 365. She quit drinking on a Sunday, had a hip operation on a Tuesday. Came home Thursday night, damn went into DTs. I drank so much, and I was home 24/7 that I didn't know she drank that much. That's what woke me up.
Well, you weren't home 24/7, okay? Because where would you go and get? You mentioned unless we're talking about your second wife.
We're talking about my wife now.
Now, is
My
it your
first-
first or second wife?
This is my second wife. My first wife and I lasted a year.
Right.
And I was 20 years old.
So your wife right now knows about your past, your drug
Every bit of it.
your drugs and your alcohol use.
Every bit of it.
Now, she used to be an alcoholic, correct?
You're always an alcoholic. You're just sober.
Okay. Did she use any narcotics?
No.
Okay, just alcohol.
There's a big difference between they know about your drug history, they know about your alcoholism, and they know that you're a killer. There's a big difference there.
Mhm.
And what you're afraid of them finding out is that you're responsible for that. That's why you can't explain to me how your DNA got there. Because the explanation would result in you having to admit to your wife and to your mother and your father that beyond the drug and the alcohol use, that you also killed someone.
And like you said, I don't know how my blood got there. Nobody's going to believe that. Nobody's going to believe that. I don't think you're a bad person. That's why we're talking. There got to be a reason why your blood, and only your blood, got on her. There got to be a reason. And I believe only you know that reason. So, this is not going to go away. It's not. Right? Because and I know she didn't get killed here.
You're worried about them finding out. But that's not what you need to be worried about. They're gonna find out.
I've already told my wife, and she's telling my parents, she hasn't told them already why I'm here.
Right.
But your wife hasn't seen these pictures. She doesn't know you told her that, well, I'm surmising, I'm in here for murder.
I'm in here because my DNA was on a woman that was
Right.
murdered 33 years ago.
Right. But she doesn't know about these pictures. She hasn't seen how horrific these pictures are. And she's gonna see them.
Everything is going to come out in trial.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Yep. They're gonna play all these pictures. They're gonna show all these pictures. So if she comes to the trial, she's gonna see them.
And they probably won't have to wait that long because at 4 p.m. today, there's going to be a press release. And the news is probably going to pick up on the story, and then at 5 p.m. it's going to be all over. And there's going to be two options. We tell them the story that we have, which is that someone was brutally murdered and dumped in our city 33 years ago, and we caught the person who did it. Or there's more to the story.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be more to the story because I didn't do this.
Then who did?
I don't know.
Who did, and how did your DNA get on her?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I've sit here nicely. I've talked. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know.
Why don't you know it? Was it because you were...
Because I didn't do it.
Then how did your blood
I
get over
don't
here?
know.
That's her shorts. Your blood is on the shorts. There gotta be a reason why your blood, and only your blood, is on her shorts. Nobody else's. And your blood, and what's even worse, your blood is in with her blood. So that's why when I spoke to you earlier, this is why I know there is some kind of close contact. It has to be. Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to cut yourself and all of a sudden throw your blood and it gets on her pants. It doesn't work that way.
Especially when you say you've never seen her before.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to make it make sense. That's it.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So I can't make it make
So
sense.
if it doesn't make sense to you, then you can understand why it doesn't make sense to us. Now, going back to 1991, were you ever contacted by the police about a case like this, about this case?
Did you recognize any of the photos that they showed you earlier? You didn't know any of those men?
No, sir.
Never heard their names?
I said one looked like he might have looked familiar. I didn't recognize the name. That was, I think, Ryan. So.
The detectives find a new pressure point. It's not just about what Gene did. It's about who finds out. His wife, his parents, the people who know about the drinking and the drugs, but not this. Gene insists they already know his past. The detectives remind him there's a difference between a troubled history and a murder. Then comes the countdown nobody in the room was expecting. 4 p.m., a press release. 5 p.m., it's on the news. Gene's window to control his own story is closing in real time, and he knows it.
Ryan. So. No, I did not know those people.
During that time period, you said you hung out with your stepbrother, was it? And your cousin?
No, that was when I first moved down here in 83 or 85. At that time, I lived in, I think it's Fountainhead Apartments
91.
in 91. I'm supposing I lived in Kissimmee for a while. I lived some apartments. I lived in Kissimmee. I was buying a place in a trailer park. And I moved to Orlando, and I lived in Chateau Orleans and Glen something.
So you don't remember specifically where you lived in later half of 1991?
Specifically, no.
How about who you hung out with? Closest friends?
Bennett Butkus, who now lives in Kissimmee, or in Kentucky. He was a roommate of mine. Dell, I can't even think of his last name. He's not in this state anymore because we went to the meetings together because I was sober off and on. It wasn't until a few years ago, 4 years ago, this next month, that I started working the program, working the steps, got a sponsor. I actually got sober.
How about when you were doing cocaine? Who'd you hang out with?
My brother, and we were all roommates when I first come down here. Other than that, if I did it by myself.
Are they still around?
Who?
Those two people.
Rick McAleese and my brother?
Mm-hmm.
Rick McAleese is dead. My brother's still here. He lives in Winter Park.
Did they ever bring women around?
No.
They didn't have a girlfriend?
They might have had a girlfriend. I didn't. As far as I know, Rick McAleese dated several. We lived over by SeaWorld when I first moved down here.
Did they ever bring girls over? I know you saying you didn't have a girlfriend. Did they ever bring girls over?
They probably brought their girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
But you don't recognize this lady as maybe being one of the girls they brought over.
Oh, no. Christ, we lived in Orlando. You're telling me she's from here?
Mm-hmm.
You ever been robbed?
No.
Or had your drugs stolen from you?
No.
Their money stolen when you were trying to buy?
Yes.
Where'd that happen?
McLaren Circle.
Do you remember who you were buying from?
Some black guy.
How was he the one that stole your cash? The guy you're buying from?
Yeah. He reached the car and took it.
Do you remember?
Into your car and took it? Or
My car, yeah.
okay.
You remember about what year that was?
I don't have a clue. I'm going to say 89, 90, because I believe I started at Disney and their laundry at 89.
You say you only bought in the circle one time.
Yes, sir.
How about in Kissimmee in general? Just the one time.
And you got
Yeah,
popped.
got the shit scared out of me and got popped, yeah.
Why did you choose Kissimmee, the circle? Sorry.
Because it was well known that was a drug hangout.
And that time you lived where, in Kissimmee or Orlando?
Kissimmee.
You ever frequent any of the motels over there?
No.
Never?
No, I had my own apartment.
How about when you'd hook up with girls? You bring them back to your place, you go to theirs?
To my place. I wasn't real active.
But you did bring girls back to your place. Maybe
Somebody from the A meeting or something that I hooked up with.
Got you.
And you're saying that if you did know her, it would have been from one of the AA meetings?
AA or NA, yeah.
So is it possible then that you met her at one of these meetings and
I don't think so, because she doesn't look familiar. And I can remember what certain girls look like that was there if they were eye-catching.
Yeah, she looks eye-catching.
So I say I probably would have remembered her if I'd have been with her.
what if she wasn't so eye-catching at the time?
What about
You
it?
know, what if she was drugged out? Rough.
I haven't seen people come into the AA and NA meetings that are, most of them when they get in there has been to treatment or something and they get some kind of presence about them. You don't see too many just drunks come in off the street into an AA meeting. And I've been to an NA meeting in 15, 20 years.
Going back to when you were buying drugs and you got robbed, did he fight you at all the time?
Took my money and took off and tried to get my car keys, and I was glad I kept a hold of them and I got the hell out.
Was it physical?
Huh?
Did you get roughed up at all? Physical?
He reached through the window, grabbed my money, tried to grab my keys. I stopped him from getting my keys. When he left, I started the car, I rolled the window up, and I got the hell out of McLaren Circle.
So you didn't get hurt?
I did not get hurt. Got scared out of me because Osceola County Sheriff pulled me over, searched my car,
What did they find?
nothing.
So you really don't have any enemies then?
Not that I know
No reason for anyone to set you up for a murder you didn't commit?
of. No.
You don't remember ever getting into a fight with anybody where it got physical and you got hurt? So no way somebody would have gotten your DNA to plant if they wanted to.
And it's on her.
You see where I'm going with this? It just keeps pointing back to...
You're going in fucking circles and I
No,
don't have an answer
I'm
for
trying
you.
to come up with any plausible explanation for how your blood ended up on a person that you've never seen before.
And I keep telling you, I don't know.
I get that, but I've just ruled out every plausible explanation I can think of.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you something that I know's bald-faced wrong.
No, don't do that.
I don't know of anybody that would want to set me up.
So we're back to why is your blood on her shorts? And this is a woman that got murdered. And your blood, nobody else's besides her, is on her shorts. And that's where the big problem lies. She never tried robbing you, so you're defending yourself, and that's how you got hurt. And whatever happened, happened. You never seen her before, had no contact with her. So there gotta be a reason. The blood doesn't just show up like that. It has to be a reason why it's there.
I don't know the reason.
I know.
I don't have an answer. You can turn it all different ways. Keep asking me 30, 40 times. I don't have an answer.
I know that.
Okay.
But do you understand the issue that you're in?
Yeah, I'm being charged with a murder that I don't know anything about.
Okay.
I just want to make sure you're fully aware of what is being presented here. We presented our report to a judge who signed that there's probable cause for your arrest based on all the evidence, right?
Yes.
Your DNA on the victim of a murder.
Yes.
that's eventually going to go in front of a jury and a judge. And it's still going to be that same story. Only now, there's also you saying you have no plausible explanation for how it got there. How do you think that's going to play out in front of a jury?
I don't know, but I don't have a story or a plausible way to tell you what happened, how it got there. I don't.
The one thing I can say to you is, and I really mean this, good luck. And I really, really mean that. It's gonna be hard on your family.
Not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed.
You what?
A little disappointed. And it's not because you're sitting here telling me you don't know or can't give me a reasonable explanation. But like you said earlier, we've been watching you a long time. A long time. And in that time, I had several conversations with other detectives, and I said, this guy doesn't strike me as a cold-blooded killer. There's gotta be an explanation. I was so looking forward to this day that we finally get to bring you in and I get to hear your side of the story. And that's what I'm disappointed in, that you have no side of the story.
Right.
And now I'm left to deal with the evidence we have, which is you're just a cold-blooded killer. The end. Not the ending I was looking for. So I have nothing else for you. Your paperwork will be done shortly.
All right. Watch yourself there, sir.
Gene Stuller was arrested on April 21st, 2025, 2 days after his 73rd birthday. The neighbors who watched detectives walk him out described him as jolly, outgoing, a good guy, the kind of person you'd never suspect. That's usually how it goes. He had lived quietly in Apopka for nearly 2 decades, attended AA meetings, cared for his ailing wife, and carried whatever he knew about Julia Sue Wilbanks entirely alone. The case is now before the courts, and Julia's family, after 34 years, finally has a name. Whether Gene ever tells them what actually happened that night is another question entirely. The trial is still ahead, but the blood on those shorts, the blood that waited patiently in an evidence locker for science to catch up, has already said everything that matters. If this case kept you watching, hit like and subscribe to Crime Cracked. Every case we cover is someone who was never forgotten. And what do you think? Is he guilty? Let us know in the comments down below.